I don't know what's wrong, guys. I think Sister Sherry will be back in a moment, okay?
I do apologise, guys. I have had technical problems. I don't know what was going on. I was going in, out, and everything. Uh, but you did
I'll
see the
steady up.
disclaimer. Disclaimer, it weren't showing anything. Everything froze. It kicked me out 3 times. I'm like, what the
It
hell?
showed the disclaimer in our part,
Yeah, I've
and I
just
could
seen it.
talk to the guys.
Like literally, my energy so at the minute. So it does bad things.
Relax. Breathe,
Right.
girl, breathe.
Yeah, me and technology don't go well together when I'm
Yep.
stressing.
Relax.
So, welcome to another show with myself, Willow. This is Willow's Witchy Den. So, on this show, we do talk about all things strange and unknown, from witchcraft to paranormal, UFOs, cryptids, all of those strange and unknown things that everybody loves. We talk about it. And I always do my beautiful show with my beautiful sister Drew. So, tonight's show is going to be an interesting one. We will get into that in a minute, but I'm just going to let Sister Drew say hello to everybody. I'm sure she has been talking away to you while I disappeared.
Yeah, I just said that I think sister was having technical problems. So, yeah, they did hear me, but they didn't hear you, sister. Sorry. So, yeah, everybody, welcome to the Monday show, which is, of course, Willow's Witchy Den, where we talk about strange and unknown things. Yeah, so my name is Drew, also Afina, which is my witchy name. And I have the Tuesday show, which is all about divination and talking to the spirits, which is my, let's say, my forte in life. So welcome to the
Oh,
show,
yeah.
everybody. Yeah, and we're talking about nice things tonight. So back to Sister Sherry, of course. Oh, Sister Willow. Sorry, Sister Willow.
It's all right. I'll let you get away with it. You're all right. Right, obviously, tonight's show, we're going to be doing about the Bridgewater Triangle. So, this place to me really resembles a lot of the Bermuda Triangle, but a little bit more out there. This place is any sort of investigator's place of wonderland. I'm telling you, everything from UFOs, cryptids, paranormal phenomena. There's been certain things that have happened that have been recorded, like murders and stuff. There is a really, really haunted forest there that a lot of activity goes on. The willow wisp, which is a type of fae, are known to be there, but these types are not very nice ones and apparently pull you to your death. So there's a lot of
Oh, the
really
pup wedger.
interesting stuff about it. And
Yeah.
um oh,
Sorry,
that
sis.
house we was just talking to before,
Oh, yeah, the
Lizzie
Sally.
Borden house, the Sally,
Oh, no, the Lizzie Borden house. Was it
yeah,
Lizzie
the Lizzie
Borden? Yeah.
Borden house is in
Yeah.
those locations as well. So obviously the Bridgewater Triangle is set in Massachusetts, and it's an interesting place. It is a really interesting place. Going through and doing all the research and the studying over it and stuff, there was just a lot of stuff that was really out there and really bizarre and just right up mine and Sister Drew's level, because we are
Yeah.
investigators and our paranormal is our first passion, then obviously our craft and everything else. So
Yeah.
tonight's show should be really interesting. And thank you to the person that helped me to get all the content, which is my partner. You are awesome, as always. So I'm going to start reading to you about the place, and you'll kind of get a feel and an understanding for what it is. And then I've got a few pictures and we'll take questions. I know that Sister Drew's had a little bit of a look over the stuff I said, and she's been looking at a few documentary bits, so maybe she could add some bits in as well, which would be really cool. So we'll start the show, guys. And a lot of love and blessings to you all. And please make sure that you do share out, guys, so everyone knows we're on. I'm actually going to do that quickly before we start, because I haven't shared out yet.
I'll do it, guys.
That's the one thing I forgot. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a really good show tonight. We are going to be finishing a little bit earlier today as well, for the very reason I've got other things that are going to be going on after the show as well. I'm just going to do it out onto my page. I'm not going to go all over the place. I'll share it after properly. But
yeah, I'm just
hello, Eli, brother.
And welcome in,
my lovely sister is in the room.
Yeah, Eli was asking for an interview, so we can
get your walking here. Her name's Amber, and she says she actually lived in this place.
Oh,
and I was like, oh wow, it'd be really interesting if she does come in. And
yeah,
it'd be really cool to maybe get an interview of her to see what she says. She's lived there
for sure.
Yeah. Right. So, while lovely Sister Drew is sharing out, I'm going to start getting this all read up. So obviously I write everything that I've researched and that down. So here we go. So part 1, the Bridgewater Triangle. So just some basic information on it. So the Bridgewater Triangle is at around roughly 200 square miles of an area in southern eastern Massachusetts, known for a range of paranormal phenomena, including UFO sightings, cryptid sightings like Bigfoot-like creatures and giant snakes, and ghost stories. The term was coined by cryptozoologist Lauren Colum in his 1983 book, Mysterious America. The area encompasses several towns and includes the famous Hockmock Swamp, a large wetland believed to be a hotspot for paranormal activity. Some researchers suggest that the Wampanoag cursed this land and that their indigenous magic had conjured spirits to protect their land from interplers. Others say that satanic activity in this area has opened a portal that allows demonic spirit to enter our world. Whatever the reason, this area seems to know what you fear and uses this knowledge against you to define its mysteries. The spirit of the triangle manifests your nightmares, and they are not easily exorcised. Some of the areas of focused paranormal activity within the Bridgewater Triangle is related to ghosts include the Freetown Fall River State Forest has reportedly been the state of various cult activities and animal sacrifices, as well as an alarming amount of gangland murders and several suicides. Behind its beautiful shady paths and sunny clearings, the Freetown State Forest is actually hiding one incredibly dark reputation. It has long been a hotspot for terrifying real-life occurrences and plenty of rumours of supernatural happenings. Part of the fabled Bridgewater Triangle is this haunted forest in Massachusetts appears to be a magnet for weird and horrifying. It is known as the Cursed Forest of Massachusetts. Its haunted reputation is based on more than just rumor and speculation. This Freetown forest is the site of numerous documented tragedies and crimes. In November of 1978, the corpse of Mary Lou Origia was found tied to a tree in the woods. She was a local 15-year-old who had been recently abducted from the nearby town of Rayham. About 2 months prior, James M. Carter was tried 4 times for the kidnap and murder of Arunda and eventually convicted. However, that's not even the creepiest story about the haunted woods in Massachusetts. In 1980, police were investigating a murder near the forest. They were approached by a number of locals who claimed to have witnessed satanic cult activity in the woods. Some believe that these reports were connected to the so-called Fall River cult killings that occurred during the same period. Suspicious clearings stained with animal blood were found in the Freetown forest. The curiously arranged carcasses of cattle were later discovered in the woods, leading more stem to the rumours of ritual sacrifice within the forest. The forest was also the site of 3 more murders. In 1987, a homeless man was somehow mistaken for an undercover police officer and killed in the forest. In 2001, 2 men were found riddled with bullets on Bell Rock Road, which winds through the woods. There have also been numerous assaults reported along the perimeter of the forest and along its shady paths. President Ronald Reagan himself reported seeing strange lights in the sky within the forest. Many people believe the forest exerts a dark influence that drives people to suicide, while even older legends assert that Puckwidge's humanoid creatures from Wampanoag native traditions are known to stalk the woods. So there's a lot of really strange goings on. That was just part 1. Really strange goings on there. They've had murders, they've had people go missing, they've had people be attacked, they've found animal carcasses and things which they believe may be attributed to some sort of occult, so sacrifices and things like that. They feel a lot of dark energy there. I was reading down in the paragraphs that I wrote, because there is meant to be a particular type of spirit that's meant to be seen there as well, that manifests at certain times, which is really weird. So the next part is a little bit of the victim, about the victim, Mary Lou. So she's meant to be one of the spirits that haunts the woodland and the forest, because she was obviously murdered and unfinished business, I am guessing. The first modern day distressing event that truly left a mark on the town and the forest was the murder of 15-year-old Mary Lou Oranda. She was a high school student living a fairly normal life until September the 8th of 1978 came around. The last time she was seen was riding a bike around her neighborhood. When she didn't return home on time, her parents became extremely worried and called the police. Immediately, there was a large search done for Mary Lou, but there was zero trace of her. Not too long after, the police stumbled upon her bicycle, and there were several clues that came from that discovery. Next to the bike were several skid marks in the dirt that painted a horrifying picture. It was clear that Mary Lou had been abducted. Police also discovered cigarettes close by that they saved as evidence. Within a few days of Mary Lou's disappearance, witnesses came forward and described a man that would soon be identified as James Carter. Police questioned James, asked him about his whereabouts the day Mary Lou disappeared, but he didn't have a solid alibi. All they knew is that he had a green car that matched one that witnesses had also seen in the area at the time. It took 2 entire months, but finally Mary Lou was found. Sadly, she was no longer alive. She had been found inside the Freetown forest, fully clothed and tied up to a tree. Her body was badly decomposed, but the coroner was still able to determine that her murder of death was either strangulation or asphyxia, whatever that is. It was also determined that she had passed away the same day she had been abducted. After a lengthy investigation, police had enough evidence to charge James Carter with Mary Lou's death. They had a matching sketch car, a car tire printed, and the bull's eye was from a skid mark that transferred paint from Mary Lou's bike onto his car. It took 3 trials, but eventually he was found guilty in 1996 and sentenced to life in prison. The next part of this is the satanic panic that went through the town, because there was a lot of rumors and stuff going around that satanic sort of activities were going on in the forest, and this was bringing and conjuring in a lot of weird energy and not very nice energy. So the satanic panic following Mary Lou's passing came satanic paint diverted from a local cult led by a man named Cole Drew, who called himself the son of Satan, or sometimes even Satan himself. To this day, the name Cole Drew casts a very large shadow over Freetown, with some people refusing to speak his name out loud. Hence the reason I've got incense and candles burning. Cole Drew was a bad guy. He had a reputation for being a criminal and a pimp across Bedford Street, which was essentially like a red light district in the area. And sadly, he took that position of power to manipulate vulnerable women who were in the sex industry. He would also manipulate young women in their late teens or early 20s and force them into sex industry. Those trapping industry through those trapping them inside his cult. He would trick women by telling them that they needed his protection, and in order to get that, they needed to join his satanic cult, where members would perform all sorts of rituals. If any of the women ever tried to escape, they would be met with extreme violence and ultimately death. When all this was exposed, we would find out that Cole Drew had been holding satanic rituals within the Freetown forest between October 1979 and February of 1980. He proudly declared himself as Satan during these rituals and chanted in an unknown language as he led his followers through multiple human and animal sacrifices. The first victim we would come to discover was Donna Levigue. She was only 17 years old when her body was discovered on the morning of October the 13th, 1979, underneath the bleachers of a local high school in a Fall River. Sadly, she had fallen into the forest care system at a very young age. So looking to make money and survive, she became a sex worker and unfortunately ended up within Cole Drew's cult. When authorities discovered her body, it was a scene straight out of a Gore Slayer movie. Her hands had been bound with fishing line, and her head had been stabbed multiple times. Her skull essentially had been crushed and broken in. If that wasn't enough, she had also been raped in a gruesome and torturous manner. See, some of these cults that are formed are not good places to be part of. Some of them, that's why I stay away from these sort of things, because it's not really a nice thing to be going through. But sadly, this does happen in real life, and that is why that this place has got a lot of hauntings as well, because a lot of innocent people have lost their lives through people doing magic and doing sacrifices in a way that isn't prohibited really in the craft. None of us say that it's okay to hurt human or hurt animal or anything like that. It's not. It's against. We're not supposed to do that. So
Yep, I don't agree with it either, and I wouldn't do
you've got
anything.
other people, but you've got people that do believe in that and believe that
Yeah.
it's okay to do that, and it's not.
And the theory is allegedly that's how most people get their power, is through sacrificial things.
Yes, they do. That's why they do it. They will set up rituals. They call people in. They make people trust them, and they're all right with you for a little while. Then they make you change, and they make you want to do things that you don't want to do. And in the
Yeah,
end, they get fed up with you. That's that like, they do things like this to you. They'll sacrifice you and stuff like that. And it is to gain power, because when you take the energy and the essence of somebody that you've killed, that gives you the power, and it gives you the power of them as well. And
yeah.
that's how they gain. And it's awful, because you can gain energy and power just by being nice and being connected to things, but these people
Conjure.
see it in a different way.
Yeah. As long as you're in the right mind frame and you focus, you can conjure most energies yourself.
Yeah.
Things like that is just for real power. Most people don't need that type of power.
No, no, people don't need that type of power, and it's not really the way to go about getting power
No,
either. Like I said,
no.
it's very much against our faiths and what we believe as witches. It's harm none, so you don't harm anything,
Yeah,
person, animal, or anything. So it's not good.
definitely. Yep. It's
After
against the
looking,
path. Sorry,
yeah.
Cecil.
So after looking over her injuries, the coroners believe that Doreen had been attacked by more than one person and likely was stoned until she passed away. He even made a assumption that it could have been a ritualistic sacrifice. Like, did he know at the time that he had been 100% correct? Then came Barbara Raposa. She was reported as missing by her boyfriend Andre Atlas on November the 7th, 1979. She was also a sex worker who was only 22 years old with a young child. Andre identically told police that he was extremely worried about her and believed she had been involved in some sort of satanic cult. Unfortunately, when the police looked into him, they discovered that he had a very disturbing history involving satanic and raping women. He then revealed a bombshell that he, Barbara, and Dorian were all members of the cult, and that was why he was so worried about Barbara. He then brought two additional names forward: Robin Murphy, who was just 17, and Karen Madison, who was 20, and both were active members in the satanic cult and sex workers. Both of the women were interrogated by police, revealing all sorts of disturbing details until Karen finally blurted out a big piece of information. She said that Cole Drew had been responsible for the murders of Dorian and Barbara, At this point, Karen could not believe that she was actually telling police what happened, because although she was a member of the cult, she had a deep-rooted fear of Cole. She knew that he would come after her if he knew she was talking to the police, and although police offered her witness protection, she declined. Eventually, the police were led to the Freetown Fall River forest and shown exactly where these rituals were taking place. The Freetown Fall River forest was a well-known area for mischievous behavior, not to mention that the Native American who once lived on the land believed it to be cursed by demonic spirits that give uh, which we will get to later. So naturally, this place made sense for a satanic cult. Police would discover the truth about what was going on deep within the forest. There was one particular rock that was used as an altar, that was used as the primary place for rituals and sacrifices, both human and animals. So time goes by, and on January the 26th, 1980, Barbara's body was finally discovered in a wooded area of Freetown Fall River Forest by a group of hunters. Because it was the middle of winter, her lifeless body was almost frozen and similar to Doreen. She had also been tied with fishing line and her head bashed in. Of course, police went back to Andre for questioning, and instantly he denied any sort of involvement until he did something police were absolutely not expecting. He claimed to have had a physic dream where he had seen how Barbara had passed away. He gave many tiny details that you simply wouldn't know unless you were there, including exactly where her body had been found. This led to him being arrested and charged with the murder. Police then went back to Karen for more questioning when she pointed the fingers at Robin and claimed she was extremely manipulative, violent, and that she was also involved in the murderous rituals of the cult. She also revealed that she would be willing to tell police everything about both of the members, since Andre had been arrested but in charge. She wanted full immunity, which police agreed to. When police went back to Robin for answers, she pointed the finger at Andre, saying that on a car ride with her, Andre and Barbara, he had gotten into a fight with Barbara. It escalated to the point where he pulled over and pulled Barbara out violently and attacked her, and then bashed her head in with a rock before leaving her there to die. As for Dorian passing Robin's claim, it was Cole Drew who had used Dorian as an example towards the other occult members. He had sacrificed her as punishment for trying to leave the cult. Cole had stalked Doreen and had kidnapped her. Cole and another man brought Doreen to the bleachers at the local school where her body was found and tortured her to death in a satanic sacrifice to the devil. Instantly, Robin tried to play it off that she was completely clueless about what happened until she saw on the news that Dorian had been killed, which police didn't quite believe. The problem was that Karen and Robin were both telling contradictory stories, where Karen claimed that Robin would force other members to participate in the killings as a form of blackmail. At this point, although Karen was working with police, she was extremely fearful that the cult would be coming after her next. She was right. Cole Drew wasn't going to let Karen get away with this, and he planned and executed her murder as a realistic sacrifice to the devil. Somehow they managed to get a hold of Karen and brought her to the middle of Freetown Fall River Forest, where the ritual began. in attendance was Robin, along with several other members. That night of February the 8th, 1980, Karen suffered a horrendous death where she was brutally tortured, including having her finger nails pulled out and her hair ripped from a scalp. They then chopped off her fingers and then proceeded to bash her head in, following a snapping of the neck. Cole then ordered Robin to finish Karen off by slashing her neck before depicting her, but that wasn't it. Using Karen's head, then the men of the cult started using her head as a soccer ball, kicking it around and back and forth. There are many other gory and gruesome details that are inconfessable that they did to Karen dismembered body, but once that was over, they then dragged her body deep into the woods and lit it on fire. It wasn't until April the 30th, 1980 that a portion of Karen's skull was discovered, including a few of her belongings. There was also multiple animal bodies found nearby, signs that something dark and disturbing had happened. Sadly, the rest of Karen's body was never discovered. After that, many witnesses came forward implicating that Cole Drew and Robin Murphy and a man named Cole Davis, and gave police more insight into the satanic rituals the group was performing. Eventually, they were charged with Karen's murder, where Robin confessed but claimed that Cole was responsible for murdering the other two women. It is really nuts. Like, you've got this place that is full of all of this paranormal phenomena and stuff, and people are wondering why there is so much activity there. Well, you've got to start for the starts. You've got these people standing there that are occultists. They're doing these really unhuman things, which is bringing in energy that isn't good, which is going to make the forest feel dark, heavy, and evil. And then obviously these people have murdered innocent victims. Okay, so a lot of these people, when they do that, they actually hold on to that spirit. They do things to keep that spirit and to keep torturing that spirit. And it is said that in certain places in this area, the recalls and the reliving of the deaths happen regularly. So this would be known as a residual haunting, which would be one where it's played over and over again, like a videotape or something. It's just constantly them playing that scene over. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the spirits of these ladies are there, but the energy of the ladies are there. The energy of the memory is entwined in those things.
Even
So
them just doing it again, being
yeah,
there
and
that time.
even though they may not physically be there, you will still see apparitions of them walking about, because I'm sure they do visit that area because it's the place that they were murdered and cruelly killed. But
Yeah.
I just don't feel that they're there constantly. I feel that
No.
there is more of a residual haunting going on, where their energy is stuck in the very essence of the forest, because it's where it happened and in the
People like
areas that
that
was
as well.
used. Yeah, I mean,
People like
say that
that as
again, sis.
well. People like that as well, as you said, they hold the spirits hostage.
They
So,
do, they do. They have certain vessels and certain things that they'll use to keep those energies there.
yeah,
And some of the spirits just innocently don't cross over because they feel badly done by, and they want they want
justice.
justice. So they don't move on, and that can make them become trapped by these evil people that took their life, and people
Yeah.
wonder why this place is so haunted and so dark.
That's why when you're walking through the place, you feel that energy. Even if there's
Yeah,
none of the spirits there, you know that there's something has happened there at some point in time because you feel the doom, the gloom, the muggy energy.
yeah. So you have all of that, which is real life events and stuff that's been documented, and then you have all of this other stuff. You have the paranormal phenomena, the UFOs and the cryptids, seeing these massive like snakes and
Yeah,
these massive huge birds with really long wings that you
yeah,
just
all the
wouldn't
magical
imagine
things.
seeing. And
Puck
Bigfoot,
wedges,
that's another one.
puck wedges are the little things that's meant to be there. That's about 2 or 3 feet tall, much like the brownies, I think. And they just push you in the water, push you off cliffs.
Yeah, there has been stories of that as well, where
Yeah,
people have been pushed to their death. But there's also these ones called willow wisps, which are another one that's meant to be resided there that are not meant to be very
too
nice
good.
either. You can have both
So many.
sides with them. So during his arrest and trial, Cole never derived from his satanic beliefs. If anything, it just solidified his commitment to the devil. Thankfully, Cole was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without a chance of parole. Robin was also found guilty but was given a reduced sentence for her testimony against Cole Drew. As for Andre, he was convicted of Barbara's death and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As for Cole Davis, he was able to get away because there was not enough evidence against him. Unfortunately, later on, he would go on to commit another crime and was sentenced to 7 years in prison, a far cry from justice. Since the initial satanic cult was disembodied, there have been plenty of copycats in the area, leading residents of Freetown to find dead animals and markings of satanic worship scattered all around. But even creepier are the ghostly apparitions that appear to people through the Freetown Fall River forest. Residents have claimed to have seen dark figures between the trees approaching them, disembodied voices believed to belong to those who lost their lives to the cult, or even remnants of the satanic ritual that have imprinted themselves onto the land. So even though the occult had got broken apart and was no longer being done by these people, there were other occults that went and tried to be a copycat, as it said, and they would perform rituals, they would do things to keep this energy there, and through that, a lot of the residents and the people that live in those areas were regularly experiencing different apparitions, ghostly cries from maybe some of the victims, seeing all of these weird little creatures that have been summoned into the rituals that have somehow become attached to the area, which is understandable. Um, it's a really dark place. It's said to be a very beautiful place, and you'll see the pictures. It is a very beautiful place, but it's just very, very dark, and it's a dangerous place, and I would be very careful going there. I will say that to you.
Yeah.
So the Hockomock Swamp in Bridgewater Triangle is also said to be one of a very haunted locations there. According to one a Norton police sergeant in 1971 was driving along Winter Street in Mansfield towards his home in Euston. As he approached a place known locally as Bird Hill in Euston, at the edge of the swamp, he was suddenly confronted by a tremendous winged creature over 6 feet tall with a wingspan of 8 to 12 feet, Column said. Every January, unexplained, exclusive balls of light have been seen over the railroad tracks that run beside the Raham dog track and through the swamp, Cullum said. In 1997, a law enforcement officer working the night shift in Bridgewater saw a large triangular UFO with 3 white and 2 red star-like lights, Pitzman said. For 2 days and nights in 1970, Bridgewater and state police were with attack dogs staged a hunt for a giant bear, even though no bears live in the area. Following numerous reports of sightings of a hairy 7 foot tall creature, Pittsburgh said. In October the 24th, 1980, editions of the Enterprise, a Brockton man and his friend recalled their brush with another swamp creature. They said they were paddling on the lake Nip- Nippon Kit, where they came across what looked like a smallish orange orangutan sitting on an island. Pitt said there's absolutely something special about Bridgewater Triangle, but he doesn't know if that if the explanations is supernatural or unexplained, but not or just a natural phenomena. The swamp retains a quality of a primeval wildness, he said. One theory for the weird happenings is that certain gallical sailors there might contain some kind of natural magnetic material that could interfere with compasses, GPS systems, and even the human mind, Pittman said. Another possibility, a lot of the UFO and Bigfoot sightings have been near high tensioned powered lines. Is there something about that affects people's perceptions? Pitts asked. Is there an actual paranormal presence behind the strange occurrences? I'm not sure that's the case, Pittsmouth said, but he added mysteriously, I'm not sure that is not the case. So he's uncertain. He's not sure. So this police officer was obviously on call. He'd had his first experience with this massive, large bird, and then several other officers had gone on to have different experiences with UFOs, swamp creatures, and just strange beings that you wouldn't really expect to see. But this is meant to be something that is regularly seen and occurs in this place. It's most definitely built on ley lines, and it's built on energy lines, which makes it an open portal for any sort of energy to come through. And it would make it the perfect place for places for rituals and stuff like that, where there's always a lot of energy and they're surrounded by every element as well. Which so you
Yeah.
can see why the
Perfect
place is
storm.
the way it is. It
Yeah.
is. It is, yeah.
Welcome in,
And like I
Sister
said,
Phoenix.
if you're if you're somebody that lives in that area, because people live in these towns, there's 3 towns that are directly in
Yeah.
the bridge triangle, okay, and they've all had experiences. They all have weird things going on. All of their towns are supposed to be haunted and have stuff that goes on, but all of them always head back to the forest itself, saying about that's the most haunted part of the
Yeah.
area, and it's a strange place. It
Well, if
is a
you
strange
think about
place.
it, all the
People
land's
there.
connected, isn't it? So if you
Well, it
think about
is.
it,
It's all
all the
in one
land's
place, really.
connected.
It's just in little areas
Yeah.
of that place. You know what I mean? And if there's people there that are into the paranormal and all these UFO things, you kind of got all of it on your doorstep. You don't really need to go anywhere because
Yeah.
everything is going on there. You've got your UFOs, your cryptids, your
Your
paranormal
magical
phenomena. You've
being.
got types of supernatural phenomena.
Yeah. Your
You,
skies.
you get other beings, sky stuff. There's just so much going on there that you wouldn't
Is there
even
any
really.
lakes? Oh, there is the lake there. Yeah, that's right. There is the
Yeah,
lake.
there is lakes. There's some lakes, and there's also
So,
there's a swamp.
yeah, I was just about to say that. So you know that there's going to be every type of magical creature there. So it
Oh
makes you
yeah,
wonder then if because it does go in a triangle, what defines the triangle? Is it ley lines? You know?
I think that I think that it is. I do think that there is some form of a ley line, and there is most definitely some sort of spiritual passage of opening there as well. It's a bit like
Yeah.
some of our areas we have here. You know what I mean? But this one's a little bit more higher in energy and stuff, and
Yeah.
Like a bit like Bermuda Triangle, there has been disappearance. There have been weird things that have happened that can't be explained. So
It's the same type of energy.
yeah, but people live there and uh, have experiences every day. So that's the only
Yeah.
difference, really.
You would have to
So
tell people you were going into the woods with your dog or something in case you
yeah, you
disappeared.
would have to tell people because as you've got the chance that you're not going to be found otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be honest, if you've got any common sense, you wouldn't go into that place on your own anyway.
No. No.
Um,
Unless you were in yeah, no, you wouldn't even go in yourself if you were filming.
yeah, no. Cursed land. Now, as we move on from the satanic cult and left that has left its mark on Freetown, we approach the Native American beliefs that the land is cursed. This, in part believed to be why Cole Drew chose this land for his satanic worshipping. What better place than one that is already cursed with the evil spirits? Freetown is part of an eerie triangle known as the Bridgewater Triangle, similar to others around the world like the Bermuda Triangle, where a bunch of unexplained phenomena occurs. The other two towns that complete the triangle are Rehoboth and Bignington, which also include the Freetown Fall River Forest. To understand the depth of this, we have to go back into history to where the Wampanoag tribe living in the Triangle area approximately 12,000 years long before European colonists had arrived to America. There was one particular area known as the Hock-O-Mock Swamp that was once part of Freetown Fall River Forest. Although today it has been separated by road and towns, back then tribe members worshipped the swamp and it was known as a secret burial ground for their ancestors. However, as much as they worshipped this swamp, they also feared it because they believed that the deity of death and disease could hob hobmock lived within it. From this belief driven the name we call the swamp today, Hokomock, which translates to place where spirits dwell that lead to the gates of hell. Towards the Freetown and Fall River Forest during the 1600s, there was a heavy amount of conflict between the Wampanoag Indian and the colonial settlers. As you can imagine, this meant plenty of death and war. King Philip's War was one of these events that was fought between settlers and English and the Wampanoag people during the 1670s, where the ultimate price was the land of Freetown. It even it's even believed that King Philip's War was bloodier than the American Civil War, which gives you an idea of how many people lost their lives. Many believing that the cursed land manifests in how horrific King Philip's War actually was. In 1683, the land was bought from the tribe and Freetown was established, but even since then, the town has been plagued with strange phenomenon. People have claimed to see strange lights in the sky, ghostly apparitions, which some believe to be the people of who lost their lives to the cult. Others swear they have heard a faint drumming of Native American tribes in the distance, while others have been confirmed by black-eyed children. There have been reports of strange balls of light within the forest, as well as not to mention the dozens and dozens of people who have gone missing in the forest only to never be found. But that's far from it. There are also tales of Native American spirits roaming the area, including the Puckwidges. Puckwidges, these creatures are said to be about 2 to 3 feet tall, resembling goblins that roam throughout the Freetown forest. They're said to have a greyish skin tone, dark fur, and very large ears, and are known because people to and are known to cause people to get hurt and to even harm themselves. An example of this dark behaviour comes from several stories that took place at the ledge since the 1800s. People have reported feeling an unusual call to the edge of the ledge, where many have even jumped to their deaths. Those who have managed to fight their urge have reported feeling an intense emotion of dread and despair. In addition to seeing shadowy figures out of the corners of their eyes, those who have survived also swear that they would never return out of fear that they might not make it out alive next time. Some also attribute the phenomenon surrounding the ledge to King Philip's War, where many of the Wimpegum people leapt to their deaths off the ledges because they refused to be captured by the English. The Puckwudgies have haunted the forest of Massachusetts since before the first European settlers ever thought about settling out for a new land. For centuries, these torment these torment they tormented the local Native Americans and crept their way into their creation myths and oral history. They could easily be passed off as legend, and in fact, their physical description is much like mythological creatures from other cultures in other times. The difference is these demons jumped from the page and evolved as at the people around them as they changed, changing from reluctant helpers to evil tormentors. The difference is these demons are still seen by people today. Most cultures' mythology has some references to small monsters that have a strained relationship with humans. In many ways, it makes sense. While large monsters have their place in our fears, dimensional creatures find their way into the shadows of our rooms and under our beds. Their names and nature change, but there are always common threads that link them together. Some are called monsters and roam the land looking for human food and kidnapping anyone they can find. Others are called demons, foul spirits that feed of the negative and expose the sin of men. When referring to one, its classification gets blurred, and these two words become interchangeable, perhaps showing us how closely associated these monsters are with evil. The Punkawedgies made its first appearance in oral folklore of the people of Cape Cod, but recent sightings have forced people to rethink this mythological creature standing between 2 and 3 feet tall. The Puckwudgie looks much like our modern idea of a troll. His features mirror those of the Native American in the area, but the nose, fingers, and ears are enlarged, and the skin is described as being grey and or washed out, smooth, and at times has been known to glow. What makes these monsters dangerous is the multitude of magical abilities they use to torment and to manipulate people. They can appear and disappear and will and are said to be able to transform into other animals. They're fairies. I'm telling you. They have possession of magical potions, arrows that can kill and can create fire at will. They seem to often be related to a tall figure, often referred to as modern times a shadow people. In terms of the Puka Puko control Tai Pai Wank As, which are believed to be the souls of Native Americans they have killed. They use these lights to entice new victims into the woods so that they may kidnap or kill them. In the European folklore, these balls of energy are known as willow wisps and are said to accompany many paranormal occurrences. Modern paranormal investigators call them orbs, and catching one on film is the gold standard of field research. So, as I was saying to you, they were most definitely willow wisp. As soon as they started saying about certain things to do with them, I was like, that's a type of fairy. That there was just goblins are associated to being fairies.
Yeah.
They are a type of fairy. Um, that's everything I had for like reading wise. But as you can tell, there's been a lot of different phenomena that's happened there. There's been murders, which there's victims most definitely obviously left there or residual energy of their murders. You've got a lot of different swamp creatures and cryptid creatures. You've got UFO sightings. You've got paranormal phenomena. Everything you would think of in the strange and the unknown, this place has it.
And it
Literally.
just feeds
So,
each other. I mean,
yeah.
every little event feeds the next, and then that energy feeds the next. So it's just a big
And you've got
ball.
to think of that all over those centuries, how much
Yeah,
it's grown and how much that story has opened it to get more and more stronger. The more that it's spoke about, the more that it's feared, the more it grows, the more it becomes more dominant.
more
So
entities are there.
everything is entwined. And it's like we're saying, in that triangle area, it's only got
My
three
brother.
towns, and those all three of those towns have that forest going through it. So it's all tied. And it
Yeah,
was all one at one point. So
it's nuts.
would I go there? I don't know.
Your
If
team.
I
Yeah,
wanted to, I would have to have a massive group, and I wouldn't
yeah.
go on my own. There is no way I'd go on my own,
We would go
and
as
I'd
a
make
team.
sure that I'd make sure I do a body cleansing and rituals and that for a whole week and a half before I go. Make sure I was safe.
We would have to fast and everything for a full week.
Yeah, fasting and make sure that everything's covered, and
Yeah,
because we are investigators, and when we hear stories like that, as much as some of this stuff was really screwed up that I was reading today, and all of the horrible stuff that happened there, you know, as investigators, we still have that little part in us that wants to go to these souls and see if they need any help or anything,
yeah,
because real investigators want to help the dead,
yeah. There's
and we
definitely
understand that they
no
can get
soul.
lost and trapped, and but at the same time we have got to look at it realistically as well. Would it be safe enough, and is it worth the risk? To me, I think it would be if I had other people with me, but I wouldn't
Your
touch anything I'm
guide.
not meant to touch, and I
We
wouldn't go.
would know. Yeah, we would know if we were to do it or not because your guide would put it in your head whether it was something you were to go ahead with or not. You wouldn't be long in finding out if you were to go or not
Yeah,
because
no, you would
your
definitely give
guide
me a
would
quick call.
block it in every way. Your car would break down. You wouldn't find your batteries, your
Something
camera,
weird would happen.
Yeah,
It
things
always
would
does.
happen. Yeah. So you would know that, okay, they're trying to block me.
I've had it loads of times when I've wanted to go out to investigations, and the place that I would normally go to just wasn't the place to go to at that time, and they would do things like that. They would hide certain things so I can't find it, and I'd be like, okay, I take it that this is a sign that I ain't allowed to go. And 9 times out of 10, they'd tell me, you're not allowed to go today. You're not going.
Well,
Like,
I always say that Shell, my best friend, who stays here, that usually goes out with me ghost hunting, she usually holds the camera, guys. To be honest with you, and I feel as if she's definitely got some sort of gift that she just doesn't know how to bring it on. And that day that I got attacked down at the Lovers Lane with the witch, she didn't feel well in our Kerry's house and she was going to go home. And there was 2 or 3 other things had happened. I think we'd forgot our cigarettes and things, and it was numerous things. And then we got to the top of the lane, and we were just building our energy, saying our little prayer before we go in. And you could tell in the video she wasn't right. It was, and she really did want to go home. So we should have listened to her because we weren't. It just all went wrong, you know. So yeah, they do put it in things in your way to sabotage you.
Which of the fields? Yes,
Nice
Puritans
pub.
are a indigenous fairy. Yeah, they are. I'm very, very open and very knowing about quite a lot of fae folk, and I most definitely know that the Willow Wisp are part of the fae. They are an
Oh,
indigenous fairy. They're not normally known as the more good ones. They're more of swamp
yeah.
and sort of thing,
I
you know.
found
But
it interesting though that they said the ghost hunters say that it's orbs. I found that interesting because I
yeah,
do.
and the thing is sometimes you don't know what they are when they're coming in front of
Yeah,
you. Like, to
I
be
was going
honest,
to say that.
there's different types of willow wisp. There's ones that won't hurt you, they won't even come near you, they just won't even entertain you. And then you've got the ones like these that will. You know what I
I
mean?
was going
Like
to say that as
the,
well.
the
There's
willow
so
wisp
many
fae
different
are
lights.
very secret creatures. They don't really like to talk and communicate with humans.
Mm,
They'll fly around by showing their lights off. You might be able to see them in an orb form or whatever, but they won't entertain you
yeah,
normally. But in some places that they're more known to being malevolent and evil, they'll do things to you.
yeah,
And they very much so do in this place. They push you off of top of mountains and
yeah.
everything. So
Drown you in the lake.
yeah,
But that's
literally.
what I was going to say. There's so many different lights out there. I do believe that some communities and things will always think that it's one thing. But now,
Yeah,
because research has came on, I mean, this is 2025. Research has came on so
they're
much
paranormal.
that we know now that there's so many different answers to these questions.
Well,
You
there
know, there's
is.
not
You know,
just
you
one.
get a lot of people. You get people that come up and say that the orbs are dust. Some orbs are, but I have come
Yeah,
over my years and years and years of doing this research and studying. When you see a form of orbs that are made by dust, they normally are in a massive pack and they all fly in one direction, going towards the floor, or just flying
yeah,
everywhere. Literally, just like splurting out. You'll just
exactly.
see like big puffs of them. But when they're directly
Happens these
but
days.
directly flying at you and they're changing direction and they're
Yeah.
doing they stop point on your screen and they're sitting there, then they whiz off. That is not
And
a
they've got
piece
little
of that.
dark legs.
Do you
That's
know
what I
what
was
I mean?
going to say. Some of the cameras that we've got these days, especially on the iPhones and things, the front cameras, you can clearly tell when it's orbs, dust, or a beast, a bug. You know, so maybe in the olden cameras it was harder to tell, but you can clearly
On
tell these
today's
days.
ones, on today's phones and stuff, they don't intend to really pick up on the dust particles because of
No,
how
yeah,
the cameras are.
yeah,
Um, and you'd see if there's anything flying around you. Now, like if you're like me, I'm always sweeping, tidying. I don't like having dust about. So the likelihood of me having any dust, I'm not saying there isn't any dust. If I sit on my sofa, maybe a little bit might puff up and
yeah,
that. But when you go and look over my shows on my channel, and you know, Sister Drew's done stuff as well. You can see the orbs and stuff moving
you
around and
usually see stuff.
intelligently changing directions and
So,
stuff. I'm sorry, but dust does not intelligently change direction.
exactly,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, so hey, Salam, how are
Look
you?
at this.
So,
Exactly. But that's really
and
interesting,
there
though.
are so many
Thought,
forms to orbs.
yeah, I
Spirit
thought that was
orbs.
interesting.
You get orbs from aliens. Aliens can form in orbs. Spirits can form in orbs. You know, you could see a light that looks like an orb, and it could be a light from a spirit. It could be something that the spirit's holding.
Yeah, they
There
say
is
that
so
they
many
use that to
reasons.
cloak. Usually, if
Yeah,
there's an alien or a being trying to cloak themselves, there's usually an orb there. So you
yeah.
know to look down or look around that orb
There are
because
so
they're
many
usually
reasons. But the willow wisp are known to show in forms of orbs, but they normally have a really bright light going to them as well. Now, there's been a few times I've had orbs that have come up to me that are really bright, they're flashing, and they're
Yeah.
just prominent color. And things like that could be them. Now, I'm not saying that every willow wisp's going to come round and kill you and do really bad things to you. No, they're not.
Only
But
if you're in their land and you're doing
don't
something wrong, I
don't
believe.
they're not the type of ones that you want to communicate with and connect with. Like, leave them to their own.
See, the thing is, as well,
Respect them and leave
I
them.
always say, some of these people that's went and done the research there, maybe they have been attacked or whatever, but we
Yeah,
don't know who they people were. We don't know what maybe that entity knows, So you
but
can't
that's
judge.
that as well.
Yeah,
It's that as well. You get a lot of these really horrific stories about this place and stuff like that. And then you have people that go there and investigate, and they say that they've had really bad things done to them and stuff. But then you do
you
have to
don't know
sit there and
who
think,
they
yeah, but
are.
how did you act when you was there? What did you say?
Yeah,
Was you disrespectful? Did you go into a place that you felt you're not right in?
yeah.
All these sort of things are really important when you're investigating. If you're in an area and you feel that you're not meant to be in that area, don't go in that area.
Oh,
Go away from that area. There is a reason you're feeling that.
respect the
Don't
boundaries.
ignore it.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of the time that's why they attack, because they're like, well, you're not taking notice of what we're trying to show you. We're trying to sign to you not to come here, and you're
yeah.
ignoring that.
And
You know,
most of the times it's your guides that's pushing
yeah,
you out. It's not
yeah,
something bad. It's your guides
yeah.
that's flagging it so that you know, okay, this is alert. I need to move on. It's not some
Sometimes
bad entity.
sometimes the light and the dark are so wrapped up it's difficult to see. Yeah, it is, but a lot of people that are in like the paranormal, a lot of people that go into these investigations, it's not so much about what they're seeing. We kind of pick up on what we feel first. So if you feel
Yeah.
this place don't feel good, this place doesn't feel like you should be there, don't go there.
Yeah. Most of the
You know,
time, you see
look
it.
for signs. Are weird things happening to you before you're going out the door? Have you lost your car keys? Can't you find your car keys? As something of one of your pieces of equipment gone missing or stopped working? These are all
Yeah.
signs that they're trying to put you off,
Don't
like
go.
going. Like
I know that you don't see it at the time, but the more that you go on location and you know that you shouldn't have went, you start to listen to the signs.
yeah, you
Well,
learn.
next
Everybody
time.
makes mistakes. Everybody, when they first start out, is going to make mistakes and not always pick up on what they're not meant to be doing and am meant to be doing at the time. They may have those feelings, but not really feeling that it's that. Things happen. But as you have those experiences, that's where your wisdom and your experience comes from. That's when you learn how to be when you're investigating. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
orbs, I have seen white, I've seen black, I've seen green, I've
Blue,
seen red,
blue,
I've seen
quite
blue,
popular.
I've seen purple, yellow. I've seen quite a few different coloured orbs, and to be honest, I've seen a few that have been multiple colours. When you
I
look
was
at them
just going to
flashing,
say
they've got
that.
different colours going through them and stuff. Like,
And I've got a theory of that because I've
yeah,
seen a lot of different coloured orbs at old castles and things. So it makes you wonder, is that ancient energy that's maybe around these old
it is
castles?
said to be. You'll find that with more of the ancient ancestor sort of energies, they will be more colourful sort of energy because they've got all that energy, that wisdom, that power. Then you've got like your angels and stuff as well. Your angels will be specific colours. Everyone always paints the
Yeah,
angels coming in a white or a gold. No, the angels will come in whatever colour they want. Same with the
yeah,
spirit. Like, not every orb that you see is black is negative, and not every white orb you see is positive. It's whatever that energy
yeah.
decides to be in at that
Feel,
time. It's
yeah.
learning to pick up on it. You know what I
Feeling
mean?
is everything when you do this
Yeah.
kind of work, guys. Go on
Feeling
your
is key, number one. Feeling is above everything. You're going to feel before you see, sense, or anything else. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You're going to feel. And that's what you should always take notice of.
yeah, definitely. That's what's
Always.
going to make you go in one direction and not in the other
The
and think.
orbs I see are light blue to red. Well, may just be that's the way that your mind is able to see orbs. Not what you've got to remember is a lot of people see things in a different way. It's no different when we do things like meditation and that, and we say to you to focus on a certain energy color. Not everybody can see in gold, white, or silver.
Yeah,
They might be able to see in black or white, or they might only be able to see in purple. So, you know, that's why I always say that when you see that colour, see it when you're not in a good place or there's something not good, that colour is the most darkest of its colour. And as it gets energy opened and healed, it'll become lighter and more fluorescent, you know, because not everybody can see colour in their mind. Some people can only see it through certain
What
colours,
I,
you
what
know.
I've always told you as well when I've been
Yeah,
teaching you how to pick your candles is
yeah,
every colour could feel different to you on different days. Hold the colour in your hand. See how that colour makes you feel. If it makes you feel like a sunny day, then put it out for something positive. If it makes you feel a little bit
exactly.
more darker, you've got to feel these
Exactly.
things
It's the
out
same
for
with
yourself.
crystals and stuff. Like when people come into the craft and they come into the paranormal, they set certain structures. And yeah, there is certain structures in what we do, but in the magic and the work we do ourselves, it's different. You know, you've got all these books that tell you what stones you should use, what color candles you should use, but not everybody connects to that energy. I've had it where I've done protection spells, where protection spells are supposed to be either white or black candles, and I've felt to pick a red candle up to do protection that day. It's not wrong or right. It's what you feel. Don't go by what you read in books and things you go by. Go by what you feel when you're doing that. And it's no different in your paranormal. You know, you get told to take certain bags and take certain offerings and take certain things for them and stuff. But do you feel to take that to them that day? You know, like, say, for instance, you've come to one of mine and Sister Drew's paranormal classes, and we tell you to take things like baccy and take bits of fruit for the spirits and do this and do that. And on the day, you feel to take a bit of baccy, but you don't feel to take fruit. You're feeling to take sweets and you're feeling to take something else. Take that. That's them telling you. We're giving you a basis of what to follow. What you feel and what you pick up in is up to you. They're going to tell you what they want. They're going to show you what they want. So listen to your instinct. We can give you the basis, the education, and the guidance. But in the end, who you are, how you act, and how you investigate, how you do magic, any of it, it's all down to you as a person. Nobody needs to be the same. Nobody's meant to be the same. You know, so
Exactly. Yeah.
it's really important. It's just really important to listen to yourself and trust your guidance and what you feel. I just seen the light go there then. I see that. Yeah. So, you know, the paranormal is a big passion for Sister Drew and for me. It's the one thing I started out on YouTube doing was my paranormal. That is why I started YouTube. And then over time I met people that were like myself and I decided to be more open about my witchcraft that I'd been in for years, you know. But the paranormal's always been
Yeah.
that
Oh,
energy and that go-to.
I
It's
am a
been
witch, but paranormal's my passion. And I was
yeah,
never ever
same.
going to talk
It's
about my
been part of my
witchcraft.
life all my life.
Yeah.
So
I was asked to talk about witchcraft on the podcast way back, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I've never really thought about it." And then I started doing it, and yeah, never looked back. But yeah, paranormal is our passion for Sister Willow and I,
it
definitely.
is, and when everyone goes, "Oh, so was your passion for coming on YouTube, your witchcraft?" I was like, "No, it wasn't. It was my paranormal, my abilities, the
Not
things I experience and I do. I wanted to bring that out and try to help other people to experience that. But
yeah,
through doing that, and over time, you know, I met people that were like me, and I thought, you know what, I'll start being open about
yeah.
it. And to be honest, it was a good thing being open about my witchcraft because I did use my witchcraft in my paranormal. I use both,
You
and
don't realise that you do use it.
people watch you and they're like, "But that ain't what normally investigators do or put down." So what are you? And it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a witch, guys," and they're
That's
like,
why
"Oh,
in
I
my
thought so."
description,
And then
it's
like, it's
different.
really cool. It's really cool. You're a witch, and then you
Yeah.
think, "Oh my god, they actually accept me." Like it's
Paranormal with a
yeah.
difference. I
Oh, it
take
is.
you to the woodlands and give you a spiritual experience. It's not a ghost hunt and it's not a paranormal investigation. It's a spiritual experience.
Yeah, and it's always been that with me. Like when I first started out, and that I used to take people out with me on my investigations and stuff like that. There's a few videos, and I spoke to them about my experiences, what I do, and stuff like that. We done investigations, of course we did. We spoke to the spirits, we done that sort of thing. But I like to take those little moments where I'd take them over near where the little lake river bit was, and I'd sit down and I'd do that sit down and get them to close their eyes and to connect, and they'd start feeling more stuff, and they're like, oh my god, what was that? I said, I'm an investigator. That's different. I don't just do it to do investigations. I do it to connect with them and to feel them, to help them. And they're like, oh my god, like it's really cool that you do it like that. I'm like, yeah. There's too many people that just want to run around with cameras. Why don't you just stop, listen, and feel? That's what's important. You know what I mean? So
you do not realise how many spirits are actually, and not even spirits, elementals and other magical energies that want to speak to you in the woodlands, especially at old castles and old cemeteries. Some of the cemeteries, the spirits haven't been even acknowledged for centuries. So when you hear their voice, they're like, oh, somebody can hear me. And you can, if you spend the time with them and dedicate to going back, you get their story. Up at Dublin Castle, I know, for example, that the lady, the castle, who speaks up there's name's Elizabeth. I don't know. I was in the middle of getting her story when we stopped going because of COVID, but I don't know if she's one of the maids or whatever, but she lost her husband at the local church when it was the massacre. So I had got her story, and I had said to her, I do believe if Scotland and England was still fighting in this day and age, that people would sit around a table and talk about it now instead of what happened. And from then on, she actually started speaking to me and giving me her story. So
the thing is,
it's all about
the thing is there's too many investigators and stuff out there that don't care about the spirits themselves. They just want them to do things and make their channels and stuff look really cool. When really becoming an investigator is because you're wanting to help the other side, and you're wanting to help them out of that problem, and you're wanting to hear their stories and know about their history and help them to understand things and to come to terms with it, because a lot of them have been forgotten. A lot of them haven't been spoke to for centuries, and they're just starting to come into that era where people are trying to talk to them, and maybe they've been rude to them and not been very nice to them when they've came in and spoke in their investigation methods. So they don't really know how to react with the good ones. That's why sometimes it does take you sitting down and going, okay, I'm not going to get the cameras or anything out. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to feel your energy, and I'm going to listen to what you've got to say. Is there anything you've got to say? All I've got is a spirit box here, or I've got my head. Talk to me in my head. And I'll just sit there with them for hours. No cameras, no nothing. Just me and them. And I'm like, I'm so sorry for the way you've been treated. I'm so sorry that you've been treated like that. I can get why you're angry, but I'm not here to disrupt you or upset you. I'm here to listen to you and to help you.
The thing is, as well, you can ask your questions, give them time to decide if they want to answer, and say to them, right, I'm going to move on to the next part of the cemetery. If you do decide you want to answer me, I will be around for the next hour. And give them
definitely
feel your energy out.
Not saying not to ask them questions, but a lot of people go straight full pack. Can you do this? Not even giving them a chance to answer. They're doing the next question. They're doing the next question. It's like, well, give them the goddamn chance to even answer the first one. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes they don't want to, you know, like they'll come to you when they want to and they'll do it. You know what I mean? I've had it where I've asked them a question. I'm like, you can answer if you want to, or you don't have to. It's fine. Come to me and say it when you want, if you want to. And I'll go off. And 20 minutes later, the person's coming through with that question that I've just asked them about 20 minutes ago.
Exactly.
It's relatable to, and you've got to be accepting to that. They're still people. They're still people.
I know. And it's about building a relationship with anybody, even if they're dead.
Yeah, no, you're not just going to go walking in there, get your equipment out, and they're going to start jumping around and talking to you. You've got to build that relationship and them understand you. Some what you've got to remember as well, some of these spirits are old fashioned. They don't even know what a camera cord or anything like that is. So they're probably daunted by that.
That was another thing about Douglas Castle, guys. that spirit's husband had been. I mean, think about it. When he got murdered, he had been murdered by the Scottish. So that castle was English soldiers. So it'd have been English wives. So she probably hated the Scottish. And because I
Mm.
spoke to her and told her that this day and age it wouldn't be like that Scotland and England now get on and things, she did start talking to me. So think about it. I helped a spirit change their mind about hating the Scottish people.
Well, yeah, you think a lot. Some of them can't see that time's moved on, so they're still stuck in that time. So when you
Yeah,
come and you speak to them, they're like, "Oh," and they do become more openly talking to you and stuff. They
yeah,
because they come to realise that time's moved on and it ain't that place anymore. And that must be a hard way to live. And I've
yeah,
seen how they get, you know, how they get affected and things that happen to them and things like that, because I've seen it since I was a child, and it's horrible to watch some of the suffering some of them go through.
yeah,
So
I know. Yeah,
it's not about getting your video cameras out and getting the best evidence. It's about helping those poor souls and listening to them. That is what's important, you
it's
know.
it's about they're still
Yeah,
souls, the same as we're still a
yeah,
soul.
they're people. They're people.
Yeah,
That's why you won't hear me go like, yeah, I do. So, like when I first come into places, I go, "Are you there, spirits?" And then when I get there, and I go, "Oh, hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Phil."
yeah,
All their names, because that's what their names are. Call them
yeah.
by their names. They're people. Like when the kids come
What
up to me,
in
I don't call
new
them
areas?
little spirits. I call them my little darlings, my little angels. That's what they are. They're kids.
Yeah, and when
No,
you go into new areas, you just introduce yourself straight away and tell them what you want, what you're there for, and then leave it at that and walk
but
around and
even
look at things.
looks the dark thing is, yeah, but even with the dark energies, like even to them to an extent deserve your respect, you know what I mean? Like just because they're a dark energy, they have a job and they have something they're supposed to be doing, you know what I mean? So 9 times out of 10, no dark energy will attack you unless you're really, really negative to
They've
it,
got
or
a
you
purpose.
try to summons it to do something, or you're disrespectful. 9 times out of 10, these sort of energies will just walk past you and ignore you until you step in a place they don't want you stepping in. You know what I
Unless
mean?
you
So
do something they want,
if
which
they're
is
attacking you, think about what you're doing wrong for them to be attacking you, because they won't just attack you for no reason. That's what you do need to realize. There's always a story behind any reason something comes attached to you or attacks you. It's either you've done something wrong or somebody's not been honest about something, so it attaches you. I've had that
or
where I've been
it's
told about
something
this
that
negative
you're,
spirit and I've got there, but I've been respectful thinking. Of course, I've been respectful thinking to it, but it attacked me because the person wasn't being truthful to me about what was going on at the time, and Aura was telling me what was going on. I said, "You're not telling me something. What did you do that made this energy come here?" And that person admitted that when they were younger, her brother and people like that had done an Ouija board that had brought this energy in. And
so you've got to be
I was like,
careful.
wow, like that's why I was being attacked. Not because I was doing anything wrong, but I'm summoning this thing out through what I'd been told, and that wasn't even the reason it was there doing what it was doing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it was
so
hurting
maybe
it more
something
than
that
it
you
was helping
shouldn't
it. It
be.
was hurting it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So when I realised, I said, "Look, I'm sorry. Like you didn't need to take me over like that. You didn't need to be like that. Like I've come to realise what's happened." And I apologise to this energy. Yeah, it was a dark energy, but it wasn't there to. It didn't want to hurt me, but it felt it was being attacked because I'd been told
yeah,
what I
because you
should
had
hadn't
to do what
been
you
told.
were doing.
You know what I mean? So I put it all right, and he left. Yes, I did have a few weeks of problems due to his anger, and I ended up in hospital and stuff. But he's never come
That's the
back since.
point. Some people go looking for the dark
You know what I mean?
energy as well, and that's what you shouldn't do.
Just leave
Go
them alone. Dark energies that don't want to be found or seen. They just want to get on doing what they've got to do. They've got their jobs to do as well. You know what I mean? Like if one comes and talks over to you, don't be rude with it and be nasty to it. Just say, I'm not going to speak to you. I can tell that you're not in a nice mood and you're not in a nice way. So I'm going to ask you to go back to where you come from. You don't have to be evil to it. Just say that you're not prepared to talk to it and put a protection thing up.
ignore it if you
But
can.
nine times out of 10, they don't disturb you guys. They might say a stupid thing over your spirit box. You go, okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Just move on, guys. Come on. And that's all you got to do. You haven't got to be nasty to them or anything like that. Dark or light energy, you respect them all. You don't know what any of them are capable of. Even the
Brother,
ones that we class as
try.
kind and good spirit can become evil and bad if you do something. That's what you got to remember. Any
Yeah.
spirit can be dangerous.
You just have to stay positive.
Yeah.
Only try and talk to the ones that you know is love and light as well. Don't go looking for anything that's darker. That's a lot. I know people go to locations where there's been numerous murders and things, ghost hunting. What do you think you're going to come across there? It's not going to be the people that was murdered. It's going to be the demon that's been conjured out the energy, or a not so nice spirit that's living off that energy.
Sometimes they can be around, but it's very rare. They'll normally move on, like just maybe
Not-
visit. So a lot of the time, it is residual energy from negative energy that's picked up on that happening, and
Yeah,
they're feeding from it. You know what I mean? Myself, I've been battling dark stuff for a few months now. It's horrid and nasty. These two sisters keep me sane. Honestly, thank you. Oh, thank you, brother. We're glad that we keep you sane. And as we say to you, it's all just about keeping your positive energy. The more you stay positive, they can't do anything to you. And if you're having problems, brother, where they're doing nasty things, that maybe you need to seek some help.
yeah. Just keep
Yeah.
saging and keeping
Saging,
positive.
cleansing,
Keep the good energy in your home.
blessing, positive energy.
Oh, try and sit
Yeah.
and go around your home singing. Even put on nice music to sing to.
Yeah.
Keep a positive
Anything
flow.
happy
Don't like
and
that.
uplifting. They don't like uplifting and
Don't
happiness.
like
They don't
to
like that. They'll go. Do you know what I mean?
be. Yep.
Even getting a drum out. A drum's really, really good for getting rid of energy. Get a drum and just start drumming. Even if you've got to drum your bloody saucepan, do it.
With
It's a
some nice
sound.
incense, nice Palo
Yeah.
Santo
Yeah.
incense.
Some
What
Palo
you call
Santo
it?
or sages, even
Yeah.
lavenders and jasmines, stuff like that are really good as well. So anything, even dragon's blood. Dragon's blood's another one.
Yes, that'll do it.
Frankincense and myrrh. That's
Yeah.
another one. Just put these things on. Keep positive energy in your home and everything, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not going to keep rabbiting on though because I know that I've got something really
An hour
important
and a
coming up
half
in about
anyway.
45 minutes. So I'm going to be getting off of here, but I want to just quickly show you the pictures I got of the place. And I've
Yeah,
just
let's
started
see.
rabbiting on about everything, but we do like to talk to you
On
guys.
it ghost hunting. You can tell it's for passion.
Oh yeah. When we start talking about that, we don't shut up. So this is the triangle with the towns that are stated in it. It looks eerie just on its own there, doesn't it?
See, there's a
But
crossroads in it as well. Do you notice the crossroads?
yeah,
Right on the
a
verge.
lot of energy, and the crossroads hold a lot of energy and a lot of power.
Right a crossroads though, but it's close enough.
And then
What's
these are
that?
some of the areas and parts of it. So here you can see a face.
Yeah. Stuff in the
To me, it looks
tree.
very native, between native and goblin sort of things. You can see like some big ears here and a weird face.
I could see a skeleton as well.
Yeah, there's a lot, and then you've got lots of weird writing that people have done on it.
There's one, two,
So it's a
three.
very beautiful looking place, guys, but it's such a dark place. It's got so much energy
Looks like about
and stuff in it.
four
Look,
different
it's so
skulls.
beautiful. But this is why we say you can come to some of the most stunning places, but be aware.
And always look in the trees.
Yes, always. This is one of the ghosts, right? So this is the location from which the famous Polygon light can be observed. Legend explains its presence as a railroad brakesman ghost designated to remain forever at the site of his untimely death. He constantly waves his signal lantern as a warning to all who come to visit. To
Right.
observe the phenomena, park along the forest road facing north. The light will appear each evening in the distance along the power line right of way. Remember, other people will be visiting the location. Please do not litter. So there is actually, this is the spirit I was saying to you about earlier. There is a spirit that is seen every single day.
That's nuts.
So this is another part of it. See, it's very beautiful, but looks can be deceiving, guys.
You can definitely tell that's haunted. You can feel it even through the
You can
photo.
see it in the trees and everything, the way it sits.
Yep.
Then this
Oh,
is a supposable sighting, but I'm not sure if that's somebody standing there in a costume, but I don't
yeah.
know.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
Don't get any
Then
energy.
you've got a
Right.
stone,
Take it that's been some sort of writing from
the
ancient time.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is a picture of something that was meant to have gone.
Oh, wow. That's the thumbnail. It's got a giant raven.
It is, yeah.
That's nuts. The Bridgewater Triangle of Massachusetts encloses the towns of Abington, Rehoboth, and Freetown at the points of the triangle. It has a number of alluring historical sites that are full of mysteries. Besides this, the Bridgewater Triangle is claimed to be a site of alleged paranormal phenomena, ranging, ranging from UFOs to poltergeists, orbs, balls of fire, and other spectral phenomena, various Bigfoot like sightings, giant snakes, and thunderbirds, also with large monsters. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of stuff goes on at this place apparently and is seen regularly. This is one of the pathways, really spooky. You just can just tell when a place is haunted just
You
by
can,
the ambience and the way it
that's
looks. It's crazy.
would you go into the night?
And this is one of the newspaper cuttings from years and years back where at Bridgewater they had reported a Bigfoot sighting. So
Yeah.
yeah. So a really interesting and beautiful place, but so much history and so much horror there that
Yeah.
it's most definitely a place that's more than likely got tortured souls that need help, bless them.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
So I hope that you have enjoyed the show that me and Sister Drew brought you tonight and you found it interesting. I'm hoping to bring some more about this place out in the near future. And I know that there was somebody that wrote about this place. So I might see if I'll be able to get them up for an interview or something at some point as well. It'd be interesting to actually talk to somebody that actually lived
Yeah.
there. So it'd be
Yeah.
really good to see what they experienced. But until then, my angels, I do love you lots and lots of love, light, and blessings. Thank you for coming and supporting the show. Don't forget to tune in for Sister Drew's tomorrow, guys. Should be a
Yes.
really cool one. I think we're going to be communicating with the spirits tomorrow, aren't we,
We
sis?
will, yes, we will turn on the spirit box and see what we get, okay?
Yes, so don't miss that. That is going to be at 11:05, guys. Do not miss it. But and keep an eye out for all of the other people in within the cauldron that are going to be on this week as well, guys. So until then, lots of love, light, and blessings. I'm going to do the outro, and we will see you all very, very soon. Blessed be,
Guys, blessings.
loving
Bye.
you all, and talk to you soon. Blessed be.